Oh, are we on the air?
Hey, gang, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. Today, I have a special guest on the podcast. Jason's on vacation, which is fine with me because we have a special guest. I'll have her introduce herself. She's a very nice lady, very good pool player, and I thought she would be very beneficial to the podcast.
Hi, thanks, Bryan. My name is Marianne, and I actually met Bryan about 6 months ago. Watched a lot of his YouTube videos, and then actually ended up doing some online lessons with him. So thanks for this opportunity, Bryan.
Well, thank you for being with us because I think you can be very beneficial to us. Marianne is a APA player, and as I said, she's a pretty decent player. What is your current rank in 8-ball and 9-ball?
I'm a skill level 5.
Okay, great. Are you just playing 8-ball or are you playing 8-ball and 9-ball?
I am playing both 8-ball and 9-ball. I'm on 2 9-ball and 2 8-ball teams.
Wow. So how many days a week does that involve?
It's 3 days a week, but I don't play every night. Sometimes I'll skip one. And then one of them is a ladies team that only plays one Saturday a month.
Oh, one Saturday a month.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you played in the APA overall?
Interesting story. I started in 2015. 2014, I moved into a home that had an empty rec room. And I thought it would be nice to put a pool table in there, which you can see behind me.
Yeah, I love your rec room, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been fun decorating it. And I went to see Venom do an exhibition out at Mainline Billiards in, I guess it was like April 2015.
Okay.
And the league operator was handing out flyers to join a 9-ball team. I didn't even know what 9-ball was at the time. Everybody heard of 8-ball.
Right.
So I said, sure, I'll try it. And I've kind of been hooked ever since.
All right. What do you like more, 8-ball or 9-ball?
And I knew you were going to ask that. When I went up to a skill level 5 in 8-ball, I was really mad for about 2 years. It sounds silly, but I went up when I was in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot.
And then you never go down.
Right.
So I'm told. So I just made up my mind, well, either whine about it or start playing like a 5.
Yeah.
And so I most of the time play like a 5. Can't say all the time.
Yeah.
But I like both. I think 9-ball's a little bit easier for me and a little more challenging because you get to play safe more, I think.
Right.
Which I use as a strategy all the time.
Yeah. And I know when I was coaching you, I throw all these schematics that are usually 9-ball. Well, I shouldn't call them 9-ball. They're rotation schematics. So you're shooting balls in rotation. Right. Because I've found that if you shoot balls in rotation like you're playing 9-ball, it does improve your 8-ball game. Did you find that once you started playing 9-ball that your 8-ball game got much better?
Yeah, it did.
All right, good. So I've been right all these years when I've been saying that, I guess.
Yes, you have.
Tell me a little bit about how you learned to play pool.
Interesting story. I dated a guy when I was in my late teens who at the time made his living playing pool.
Okay.
So he turned out to be a really good teacher, taught me a lot of the basics, how to hold the cue, soft grip. Didn't work out as a boyfriend, but he was a good teacher.
He's a good pool teacher.
So flash forward to now and, 5 years ago when I got my pool table and I said, boy, this is fun, but I'm not playing anybody and I'm not learning anything.
Right.
So I took a couple one-on-one lessons from a guy locally. That was okay. And he said, boy, you look like you've played before. I said, well, I learned, back when I was young. He said, well, whatever you learned, it stuck with you. I said, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Okay.
And then I took some intense once I started enjoying the game and wanting to get better, I took some intense billiard weekend courses. I took 2 of them and it was intense. And that's been great, because I'm about learning and getting better. And, that's the thing. You can always get better in this game if you have the desire and time to put into it.
Right. So tell me about your first time in APA. What are some of the things that you think that new players should know?
It's frustrating if you've never played before. I watched a lot of new players, some, women and men, that they were just frustrated, and no one really took the time to show them how to hold the cue. So you know how it is. You don't get better. You just, it's poke and hope.
Yeah.
Having a strategy. So I think for that is, if you want to be a good player, get on a team where people are willing to help you.
Right.
Or find a local guy, someone like you, that can help give some lessons. Learn the basics. It's worth the investment. You get much more out of the game if you can play it well.
Yeah. And what I remember about the APA and seeing people come in, is there's a different story with like every new person that comes in. Either they really haven't played a lot and somebody wants them on their team because they need a 3.
Right.
So they, and possibly, they don't want them to improve because they need a 3. You only need 2 7s on your team, and then you got people that can't play that day. So yeah, that sometimes happens. And unfortunately, it's a game that people don't want to teach you. It's just, it's crazy. It's one of the few things that people think what they know is secret. I mean, I get comments from people and emails from people, why are you teaching amateurs how to do this? The diamond system, like it's top secret. A message to you new guys, be nice, make friends with the people that you're playing with. You made a good point about not every, I think, and I don't know how most teams are structured these days because I'm just so removed from it. But a lot of times you have the captain who is also the coach. And I don't think that should be the case, because the captain might just be the guy to put the team together.
Right.
But the best coach might be the lady over here who's a 6, and the best players sometimes aren't the best coaches either. Right. All right. And a message to better players, by the way, who might go in and might go straight to 6 or even 7. Don't be afraid to call timeout and ask someone that's lower ranked than you about a situation. Because I can remember, playing in the APA, and I was by far the best player on my team, but I would call timeout and say, like to my younger cousin, hey, Rod, this is what I want to do. This is where I am in my little zone, my aggressive, fancy play that I do. Do you see something different than I do? And especially when I was going to do something crazy aggressive, like, well, what I want to do is masse around this ball and play the 8 ball in the corner. No, I think we should play it safe here, Bryan. Okay. And, so you really shouldn't be afraid to call timeout and get another voice in your head, before you, before you let things go.
That's a great point. 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
One, the higher skilled player, by asking someone to come over and just say to them, what would you do? Gets them thinking, and then has a little dialogue live at the table, not sitting back, watching it from, 6 or 8 feet away.
Right.
But that's kind of a boost of knowledge, and for their ego, that the higher skilled player is asking the lower skilled. And secondly, I only get 1 timeout per game, and I almost use it every game because there's always something I can learn.
Absolutely.
Always something I can learn. And one of the, here's definitely something that is important in my eyes, is for the newer players, use your timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a big ego and say, I don't want to ask for help. because you will stay at 3.
Yeah,
If you don't ask for help. And I've watched players that I say, why aren't they asking for timeouts? Just, they don't.
Right.
Well, and I will now, as I'm a little bit more confident player, offer timeouts and call them. And if you call it, it has to happen.
yeah,
There's a timeout. And because I appreciate when someone does it to me, if I look like I'm going to do something stupid,
right.
take the wrong shot.
Okay. Yeah, I can remember practically throwing myself on the table. Wait, you see somebody about to do something. Time. So yeah, and it was usually somebody about to do something that they couldn't do in practice yesterday, but they're going to do it today. I'm like, you couldn't draw that ball to 6 feet yesterday. Why do you think? I always compared to basketball players. Because I used to see this playing street ball. You couldn't dunk on Monday, but in the game on Tuesday, you could dunk. And now you're laying on the ground. I mean, if you have to do those things in practice, first. But yeah, sometimes you just have to jump in there and say, hey, whoa, time out. Tell me, what would you say were, if there were any special challenges as a woman playing in the league or playing pool, period, just walking in a pool hall? I mean, most of the places where I play, if a woman comes in, period, she's probably the only one there, unless somebody came in with their girlfriend or wife or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny because everybody suddenly gets on their best behavior. But what are some of the things that you've seen as challenges on that other side of that, just as a woman?
That's a great point, because in the 5 years that I've been playing on a league, as many pool halls have shut down.
Wow.
In the area.
Yeah.
And so that's a little surprising. So now you're kind of limited to practicing in bars. You don't have a table at home. I'm lucky I have a table at home. But I think one of the challenges there aren't places, it's not like you're going to go hang out in a pool hall unless someone takes you there.
Right.
It's not like a common say, hey, I want to go stop by a pool hall today. So, a lot of the APA venues are bars,
right,
VFWs, firehouses, private clubs. So I think there's more of an opportunity for women to see, hey, there's pool tables over there. What are they doing? And our league operator, she makes her rounds, for play, and she's always, looking to increase the teams and talk to people. We just added 2 new teams for our ladies in Chester County, and that's, with COVID still kind of in play. So that's exceptional, I think, to see that many new women joining a team of APA. So that's encouraging.
I think that, you made some really good points about ladies playing in the league and ladies being in the bars. And I, this may sound sexist, but I say sexist things on the channel all the time. But years ago, and this certainly not even, I don't think is an issue today, but like 15, 20 years ago, there was a big debate. Why were the men better players than the women? And my argument was the men grew up with more opportunities to play pool. And unless somebody came along and coached a woman and introduced her to the game, chances are, especially 20 years ago, she wasn't hanging around pool halls, and she wasn't definitely not hanging around bars. So I think that women got held back as far as the education, because we know today there's a lot of top women that are beating a lot of top men at pool, and because the education has caught up and the availability. So I think that's a very good point. You probably have never been to this place, but there's a place in Norristown, Pennsylvania. It's a bar. I was in there on a Tuesday night, at 10 o'clock at night, playing, and ladies were walking in with their pool cues in their hand. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And they only had 3 tables in there, and they were good. I mean, I played a couple ladies there that were solid 6s or 7s. If they were in the league or not, they were 6s or 7s. It was because that location was the hub for the league. And this was where everybody dropped off their paperwork and their money and everything every day. And so that's why this spot was like a hot spot for good players. But that was the most unique situation I saw. There would be, 5, 6 ladies in there with their own cues at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, just destroying guys, on the pool table. And I just thought that was interesting. But there was, it was a perfect storm of reasons for them to be there and having that exposure. Are there any things that we didn't talk about that you think are important as far as either playing or the APA or anything like that you wanted to bring up?
I think for me, it was important for me to get better. And the only way to get better was to be around better players and find people that are willing to help me. Take lessons. I think, they're valuable.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, you try to make drills fun, so they're not feel like drills. Drills are hard to do.
Right.
But I think, find yourself someone that's willing to teach you, and you get better. I play on a couple teams, as you know, and I'm always happy to help a new player just get the basics down. If you get the basics down, you're not holding the cue out here, a foot from your body,
right.
You'll get better. And you just need to learn the basics. So I think it's worthwhile to invest, either paying someone to give you, 4 or 5 lessons, just, or find someone, on league that's willing to help you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a huge difference in whether or not you enjoy the game, if you're there to win. As you know, sometimes it's just a social thing.
Absolutely.
People just want, it's a night out to drink, have fun. Don't really care if they go to Vegas. Don't really care if, they win, in regionals. So it's different players.
And then you have the group that only wants to win. They don't care about the social part of it or anything like that. Because I've seen both kinds of teams. I've seen teams where, that was their mission. That was, and they never had fun. Never ever seemed to have fun at the table. And but they wanted to go to Vegas. That was it. And then you've got teams that clearly were in it for the social part, and they tended to have a very good time. It's very difficult to get on a team and have all of the things that you want out of that team, because you don't know what you're getting, and until you've been there, and you don't know what kind of coach you have or what kind of captain you have until you've been around them for a while. I keep thinking of a team, it was all family, and my team was all family, but I remember a team that was all family, and the youngest son came to me and said, if you ever have a spot on your team, I said, your father would kill me if you jump ship and he's now you're on my team. He said, but you guys seem to be getting along so well. You don't argue or anything like that. I said, well, we have a dictator on our team. I want to thank you very much for being part of this, and hopefully you will come back on and do another one with us going forward. You were so much prettier than Jason, and Jason, I didn't miss you at all this week. So, but yeah, he apologized because we were both going to do this with you, and anytime you want to join us, you let us know, and I definitely will be reaching out to you to be on some future podcasts. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon. You have a great night, And if you need anything at all, just get in touch with me. Let me know. All
Great.
right.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.